Welcome to For Collectors.
Good evening. Welcome to For Collectors. For Collectors, my name is Sammy Thunder, and tonight we are going to be recapping the Shriners Sports Card Show. I'm already seeing some folks in the chat who were there, but let me check in with everybody here. Andrew was first, as always. Welcome, Andrew. I got a special card to show for you tonight that I think you'll appreciate. Keith is here, and Keith was at the Shriner show walking around as well. I saw his video earlier, and I posted it on my channel for you guys to check out, so definitely do so. Andrew again. Stephen with a PH all the way up in the north in the freezing cold in Canada. Stephen, welcome. And I guess, yeah, Keegan is slipping, so maybe he'll be here. We got Jason, my co-comrade of Cardboard and Cold Ones. And the Encyclopedia Stuke. Scott is just a huge, great source of knowledge on all sets that exist. Welcome. And Wax Pack's Wisdom, of course. Jake was there as well, and he's the first person I saw, and he walked me around and got some huge pickups. So I hope I'm going to be putting in the link putting the link in the chat for you guys to join in if you'd like. So that will be made available. I am asking for anybody that attended the Shriner show to come on to share their experiences. Peter B. Peter mentioned that he was thinking he was going to go, but didn't get around to it, unfortunately. But Peter, welcome. Orlando, hello. And Keegan is here. What's up, Keegan? Red Light, hello, buddy. There's Mangini, the future hobby president. Let's vote for him. Keep the votes going. Thank you, Orlando. Show my Lazari. I have it, buddy. I'm gonna get it to you, man. I'm gonna get it to you. PH. Tony's here. It was a great show. Let's see. Mookie. Sammy cleaned up in Beantown. I think a lot of us cleaned up in Beantown. We're going to get a lot of some showcases tonight. I have some guests waiting in the green room right now, so we're going to get them in shortly. Just want to get through everybody here. Peacemaker, what's up, buddy? And Joe, Redneck Collector, who's fairly new to the YouTube world. So everybody, please go check out Redneck Collector. Get him some subs. Carlisle's here. No update on the East Cobb Sports Collectibles show today. You have to fill me in. So we got everybody here, and I'm going to bring in my guests so we can kind of just jump right into it and talk a little bit. Before I do that, let me leave the link for those that attended the Shriner show that want to jump in with us. Feel free to do so. So the link is going to be in the chat. You can jump on in if you went to the Shriner show and share your experiences. But let me bring in two guys that are here now who will share their experiences as well. That is Dan from Dan's Vintage Baseball PC, Mark from Mark Hoyle's Impossible Dream, and another is Jake from Wax Pack's Wisdom. Gentlemen, hello.
Hey, guys.
Long time no see.
Yeah, good to see you again.
I'm glad everybody made it back safely.
I'm trying to pay attention, but I'm trying to vote for John Mangini like it's like many times in a row. So, I'm trying to what do they call it? Split your what's the word for it? How do I forget this? Multitask.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding. I'll put my phone away.
But this is great because each of us kind of had our own unique experience from the show. And got some. I know Jake. Even before we all got there Saturday, Jake cleaned house on Friday with his pickups. It was pretty spectacular, and I was really excited to see some of those pickups. And Dan and Mark, you guys were kind of walking the show together and finding some pieces to add to your collections as well, which I didn't get. I saw Dan. You showed me before we jumped on some of the things you picked up at the show and some of the things you picked up at the shop that you and Mark went to. Mark, I don't know if I saw what you picked up, but I'm sure we're going to get around to that.
Yeah, some stuff. Yeah.
But then let's jump into it. I mean, I know for Dan and myself, it was our first time going, or was
Yeah.
it your?
My first.
So Dan, what was your take on it?
Well, so I I go to the Philly show as you have many times now at this point, and I was looking for a show that was similar to Strongsville, and people had told me that this was kind of be that way with the vintage, and I was really, really impressed with not only the percentage of tables that were strictly vintage, but also like the really rare stuff you never see at all. Like I didn't even buy a big card the whole day, but I bought like about 30 different little things at really good prices and stuff that I would never seen before, and from dealers I'd never seen before. And Mark had told me that there was an entire wall filled with guys who only do this show. So I would never have seen them anywhere. So those are the kind of guys that I really wanted to see.
Are you talking about the kind of like, you said on like the far back wall, the last row away from the,
Yeah.
I know what you mean. There was one guy, it looked like it was a lot of his family members were setting up on his behalf. And he had like a lot of Boston memorabilia from Celtics and Bruins and Red Sox, and it was just flooded with stuff. It felt like you were at like a flea market almost.
It looks like a flea market threw up. It's a complete mess. It's always like that. And you got to dig through it. It's like 3 rows. You can go in the back, but you always find some good stuff there if you dig a little bit.
And also, Jake also mentioned that it was both Jake and Mike, Junk Wax Hero, who couldn't join us tonight, unfortunately. But they both mentioned, and I mean, Jake, you can I'm going to quickly bring this up and I'll let you fill in. Matt from Providence, his setup, because I've never seen him at Philly. I've never seen him down south further, but his setup was pretty amazing too. And I think he's becoming one of those guys that YouTubers gravitate to. So Jake, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, Matt is somebody that he works really hard, and he's at all of the shows, like kind of regardless of what size they are. Some of them are pretty small shows that he sets up at, and he will set up at Shriners as well. I think Shriners is kind of the biggest show that he sets up at. But he's somebody that I've gotten to know really well as I kind of got back into collecting about a year and a half ago and started to work on building a vintage collection again. And he just, he always, every time I see him, he always has something interesting and new. And, as you alluded to, Sammy, like he really hooked me up this weekend with my biggest pickup, and I'm happy to show that if we start to kind of go through what we picked up. But Matt he's super easy to deal with. He's incredibly personable. He's what you imagine, people from New England kind of being like, and he's got the very, very thick New England accent, which I didn't pick that up from my parents from Manchester, New Hampshire, but he's easy to deal with. He is and he has stuff from every era. He's also himself a big collector, which is one of the best things with all of these guys who are the best dealers, are the ones that collect themselves. Like he PCs Cy Young, Addie Joss, Christy Mathewson, Napa Joy, obviously very specifically Lajoie because he's from Rhode Island, like Matt is. He's like always Eddie Collins is one of his big. He has like every Eddie Collins card. So it's great to deal with him. He's and we've done so many really great deals over the course of the last year and a half. He's always fair in trades, he's definitely growing his reputation as one of the best sellers, I would say, in all of the sort of vintage space.
So what I'll do, I'm going to bring in, I'm going to tie into what you mentioned because I have the video portion lined up right now for Matt's tables, so I can showcase it here. But I'm going to bring in Dom as well, who's at the show as well. Welcome, Dom.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, Dom.
Long time no see.
I know. But
Hey,
what I wanted to do is I'm going to share this right now. This is it's quickly. It won't last long. It's just a few, like about a minute or two. this is Matt's table that I have on my video. Essentially, it really kind of gives you everything. You got pre-war, and you had a lot of kind of golden age stuff, and even a little bit of kind of some modern stuff as well. You got some Gaudis there, and yeah, I mean, I found him very personable, as Jake was alluding to, and although we didn't strike a deal on our end, just things didn't line up. I absolutely will go back to his table in the future and see if there's definitely more there that might be something I'd like to add. But yeah, I mean, I know Jake, you had a good sale with him. Dan, I think you bought something as well, the Spawn.
Yes.
Yeah, and so he had that kind of in.
His price was half of what the guy like down the row had, and I couldn't believe it. And I was just like, all right, I'm not even. I'll show it to you. I'll have the price tag on because how good it was. So I'm a Matt fan, but I've known Matt from Twitter for several years now. He's been on the Wednesday vintage thread. He sells and he's actually bought cards from me. So super easy guy to deal with. So I absolutely back up everything that Jake is saying about him.
The one thing I also will take away is that his tables were very organized. And I think an organized table goes a long way. So everything, you can kind of see all the mantles were together, all the maze were together. And let me finish this piece off here. So, and just a lot of the pre-wars you can see were relatively together. And then he also had a table dedicated just for some some good bargain pricing stuff. So anyway, just wanted to share his table. Let me close this out. Yeah. So
can I just add one more thing about Matt?
Yeah.
His partner there, I think, was a guy named Tim. Am I right about that, Jake?
Yeah, they share the table. Like technically, I guess it was Tim's table, and they shared it. And yeah, Tim sets up at all the shows too. He's great to deal with.
So when I was wrapping up, I went back over there to see Matt because I was trying to land a big card, but it didn't happen. Matt was gone. He had to go to work. So I chatted with Tim for a while, and Tim was like the most personable guy you could want to talk to. So I think next time I go to Shriners, I'm going to go right to their table, just like you guys did.
Yeah, I bought a David Ortiz rookie card from Tim at a show at the Dedham show in like probably 6 or 8 months ago. Yeah, he's a great guy, very easy to deal with, and worked with me on the price on it. So yeah.
Yeah, usually once you do one deal with him, then he remembers your face, and you just keep doing more and more.
There was another guy who was set up right at the front entrance. There was an older guy who had a lot of Celtic stuff right at the beginning, and then next to him was kind of like a mix of pre-war, kind of like just a mix of some of the standard stuff. Did my thing just freeze?
Yeah.
We can hear you, but your screen is like.
All right, let me fix that. I'll cut back to my thought. Hang on a sec. You guys keep going.
Was he the guy with the Maravich autos? Did you see that guy? As you walked in, he was on the left. He had 2 Pete Maravich autographs.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of amazing. No, I didn't notice that myself.
One with Bible verses in it, like Pete Maravich, and then like John 3:16 and a couple other things. And then a big Maravich auto. He was the last guy I looked at before Mark and John had to go, and we had to go to the shop.
I think Jake and Dom, because they've been before. I've been going about 12 years. It used to be maybe 50-50 vintage to modern. I think it's shifting more and more to the vintage, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah,
it's better.
This was only the second of the fall shows that I've been to. Last year was the first one. And just so that people that are watching kind of know about this, they do multiple card shows at the Shriners every year. There's a spring show and there's a fall show. The spring show has a different promoter, and it was a new promoter this year. My understanding is that next year they're going to do a show in the show in April like they always do. Plus, they've added another show at the end of June. That spring promoter. The thing that's a bummer, it's a bummer on multiple counts for me personally. The April show is the same weekend as Strongsville, However, I can't go to either show because my brother-in-law is getting married that weekend, which is
You said that in your video this morning.
Yeah, but I think that's a bummer for the spring promoter for the Shriners next year because all the vintage dealers will be at Strongsville. So I wouldn't that would be my guess. I'm sure it will be a good show. I'm sure a lot of good people will show up, but the bigger names probably will not be there. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of June.
Traditionally, the fall show is always the better one, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. I've been to 3 shows there. Last fall was really good. The spring show was fine. This show was probably, I would say, it was even better then. But yeah, I would agree that like if vintage is your thing and you're in you're in New England, whatever, like this is the show you have to go to. Like it's just no question.
And there's 5 tables that are just strictly hockey too. If you're into that,
I saw that.
Boston. I mean, if you're into that, you're gonna find just about anything you want. There's a couple non-sports tables. Good autograph guests, I think. We got Dan and myself got Reggie Smith. So supposedly that's his last trip east, I guess.
That's what Dom was saying.
Yeah, and he was getting, the guy was going down the line and telling us like, make sure you have your stuff out because he has a flight to catch. So not only was it like his last public signing, but he was not trying to stick around for all the people that bought tickets. He wanted to get out of there.
And we went in the back. So are we like some of the last Reggie Smith live signings ever? It looks like that.
I think so.
Looking like it could be that way. At least out on the East Coast. He might do public signings on the West Coast again. I'm not sure. He looked like he was in good health, but
he has a great
never know.
Really clean. It's really nice.
Yeah, I got him to sign the rookie.
Let me see if I can.
7 tops.
Hold on. I'm trying to get this so that we can show. There we go. So we'll do one at a time. Did I lose Dom?
I think you removed me completely.
There we go. All right, now I got it. Go ahead. Dom.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Technicalities. Still trying to figure out the ways of streaming.
That's all good. I took this really beat up dollar box Reggie Smith rookie and got a beautiful autograph on it. That's just what's fantastic about it.
He signed mine exactly the same way, the one I already have of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's look at the signature. It's like Gothic or something.
So strong.
Gorgeous. Love that.
He's one of the few 1970 Topps players that's still alive that I didn't have. So this was kind of a big deal for me to get Reggie. And I said to him, wow, what a beautiful signature. And everybody laughed. I'm like, what's so funny about it?
It is. I mean, this is a black and white card, and you can really, really see it. Really stands out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Did he give sometimes these guys, they kind of acknowledge certain things that you pass on to them, like if it's a sign. Did he give any sort of reaction to any of the cards or any of the things that he signed?
He gave a good look to the ones I already had on here, the Yaz and the Longboard.
I know he was in a hurry, but
he was in a rush for us, and I was probably like the 20th or 50th rookie that he signed that day. But I'm sure there was a few pieces that he looked over and asked about, and things that he doesn't see every day, especially being a West Coast guy.
So Mookie's asking for anyone here. Can you compare and contrast Shriners to White Plains and the Philly show? I guess it mostly would be for Dan and myself. Mark, I don't know if you've gone to the Philly or okay, and Jake, you haven't been to any of these?
No,
I've been to White Plains, but not Philly yet.
Okay, so I guess for Dan and Dom, in White Plains, Philly to the Shriners, similarities, differences.
Go ahead, Dom.
Yeah, I mean, mine's a little more limited because I don't have the Philly experience. Philly is a high show on my list that I definitely want to attend. But to me, the White Plains show was a really fantastic show. They had good signers when I went. It was something that I was happy with. But being a Boston guy and being a vintage guy, I do think Shriners is more worth the drive for me personally. White Plains has good dealers, has good signers. It's got a good feel to it. The venue is nice, but I think Shriners has the more all-encompassing show experience for myself. So it kind of just depends. If you're more of a New York fan and have those New York dealers and stuff like that, White Plains is a great show as well to attend. So, if you're closer to White Plains than you are to Shriners, maybe that's just the thing for you, but they're both, a couple hour drive for me. So if I'm making the effort to go to one, I would pick Shriners 10 times out of 10.
I pretty much echo that 100%. A couple of additions. One is there's much more modern at White Plains than there is at Shriners. I would say Shriners, the room itself, it's just one square room with a couple of little overflows to like the hallways and stuff. But I think the main room at Shriners is bigger than the main room at White Plains. But White Plains has now started to put a whole bunch of people downstairs. So I'd say there's probably, how many tables do you think that we were yesterday? Like 300 maybe?
350 maybe, yeah. Yeah. They give you
So
a lot of room to move.
White Plains is like 400 to 450. But if you say modern takes up, 150 to 200 of those, then there's more vintage at Shriners. The other thing you have at Shriners, what I was talking about before, is those guys that Mark said don't set up anywhere else. They're like 80 years old. They have this stuff that's like, has dust on it and stuff, but that's the stuff that we love. So, I felt like that made the whole thing worthwhile. So I'm still going to go to White Plains because it's only like an hour, not even an hour, like 45 minutes for me. But I'll go to Shriners again next November. With regard to Philly, Philly's just a bigger show than both of them. But Philly, again, has more modern dealers. And at this point, I've been to Philly so many times that I know all of the dealers for the most part. So there's a lot of stuff that I see over and over again. And so this was like one of those things like with Strongsville, where I'm seeing dealers that I wouldn't have seen otherwise in my normal circuit of shows in the East Coast.
Yeah, I think between the three, they all have, there's some key distinguishing things about each show. Like what I liked about the Shriner show, and we talked about this off camera, Dan, is the fact that guy Dave, who's in the corner in the back, never seen him anywhere else. He has the stuff I love collecting, like the J Publishing and the team photo packs. I know Don picked up some stuff, and Dan picked up some stuff, and I picked up some stuff from him. And he was very knowledgeable in that area. So that sort of stuff I love finding. The Philly show has dealers that you don't see at the White Plains show. So, for example, you won't find Chappell at the White Plains show, but you will see him there. You won't see him at Shriners. That's just a small example. And also, as you mentioned already, the Philly show is just a larger show. And, it's similar in the way that they focus on the signers. The autographs are all Philly based or mostly Philly based. Whereas here, the Shriners was mostly Boston, exclusively Boston. The White Plains show, Jim Ryan's is a lot of New York guys, but a lot more overlap in terms of other sports and other players. But they're all unique in their own way. But I definitely enjoyed the Shriners experience.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody. There was two guys there that sold basically exclusively pennants. One in the front row and one way in the back. I don't know if they sell at the other shows. A couple guys who sell nothing but periodicals, magazines, scorebooks, scorecards. I don't know if they set up otherwise. I think they're local guys. I know a couple of the guys come down from Maine, and this is the only show they do. And their case is loaded with pre-war stuff that you don't find anywhere else. It's then you have I think all the shows have these guys to set up and sell supplies. I think there was 3 of them yesterday there.
That's a lot.
So, there's a little bit of everything there. There is there's enough modern to keep the young guys into it. I think the floor space is big, but the rows are really wide too, so you're not bumping into each other constantly.
Yep. Yeah, it's a very well set up show.
I actually thought there was more vintage than modern dealers for a change. That was surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I started watching your video, Sammy, and you walked in, and Dan did the same thing. You guys didn't sign up for the raffle. No, I signed up for it because I've won it one time. So
I still haven't won it, Mark. I do it every time.
I didn't do it either. And my wife, you guys, you guys saw my I left with my wife. She came because we only have one car, so she dropped me. She had something to do yesterday morning. She was teaching a class, so she dropped me off, and then she picked me up later. And we're both pretty tired. Like, I've been walking around, obviously, with you guys all morning, and I was pretty tired. And we thought that the drawing she had. So when she came in, she signed up for the raffle. We thought they were going to do the drawing at 1:00. And we started kind of walking towards the door around then, thinking they were going to announce it. And it said, and actually they were going to draw it at 1:30. And we were like, I can't just wait around another 20 minutes. Like, let's just go home. So we left. And so maybe Abby won the drawing.
I won it one time. It was a 49
cool.
Red Sox pitcher pack complete. So
that's awesome.
That's
a great one.
I'm now every time.
Yeah. So Boston fans saying there was another theft that happened.
Yeah, so a bunch of us were walking at the dealer that had kind of like the garage sale spread where he has all different kinds of stuff. We were all looking through his stuff, and over the intercom, they just said it, that apparently somebody swiped an 84 and 86 football like wax box off of someone's table during the show, and they made an announcement to like tell all the dealers to not buy it if someone approaches their table with it. Kind of thing. And then very shortly after, there was a couple Wilmington police officers walking the aisles of the show, like kind of investigating and looking around. So yeah, it was crazy to see that, live and hear it over the intercom, like while you're just like focused in on other stuff like that's happening,
We must have been gone by then. I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
No, I think Dom had told me that like during when we were there. I just didn't hear it. So. Or maybe we were in the autograph room or something. I don't know.
Was it what sport? What sport was it?
Football.
Okay.
84 and 86.
84 is a big one. I don't know
Yeah.
about 86. I mean, it's terrible either way. It doesn't really matter. But like the 84 tops football wax box would be quite expensive.
And I
that's
think
that's
Rice,
the Merino Elway. Like that's the
and 86 is Rice, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like a no.
I thought when you said 86 wax box, I thought you were talking about basketball. I'm like, oh my god, that would be
No, they said football.
Yeah. But wow, that sucks either way. Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking. I mean, it's kind of, if you're walking around, I mean, it's not easy to. I mean, I guess you could put it into a bag once you swipe it, but I mean, if you're carrying that around, I mean, that's pretty noticeable if you have it by hand.
You would think so.
Yeah. I mean, this theft thing is out of control. Every single show has a problem, and like the Philly show with Paul, and with Ash, with the Dallas show from a while back. It's just getting out of hand. And
I've seen a police presence there before. I don't know if that's the April show, but I've seen when you walk in, there's a cop there. I've seen that before at Shriners. Didn't see it.
Yeah, there was multiple walking around a little while after that announcement. So
too bad.
Yeah. So it's you just gotta. I mean, I guess I'm not dealing anymore. I'm not setting up at shows anymore. But at the time, it's like you have to have eyes in the back of your head. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic.
So Paul, who had been the victim in Philly of a Babe Ruth card, had his setup completely different this time. He had it set up in like a C shape with him in the middle. So he had his eyes on all of his cards. In Philly, he had two tables set up apart. So he was in the middle, and when he was distracted on one table, that's when somebody reached into his thing and took his Babe Ruth card. But so I think he's taken some more security steps. Howie Chasser doesn't even bring that, was it the Breeds Meat mantle? Whatever the mantle is that he's selling.
Stallmeyer?
Stallmeyer, right.
Yeah.
He brings a copy of it to the show. So it's like, you remember the National, Sammy? He was he had like an armored guard with him. It was a little bit much.
He did. He had at the National, he had the Stallmeyer maze, and he had the picture of the mantle set up right next to it. And because I was wondering, like, I saw it, and I said, did you buy the Stallmeyer maze from Ash? Because that was the one that he had initially. And
I think he had the real mantle at the National with the guard. He had the copy in White Plains when he didn't have.
Okay.
I think that's
okay.
And I think he sold the Maze. Did he not sell the Maze?
He must have, but I was curious how because he I remember it was selling for like 90,000 on eBay or something like that, and it was Ash had it for a little bit.
Yeah,
but I guess I don't know. Either somebody bought it and then decided. I could have sworn he mentioned. I know he mentioned he was consigning the mantle. I wasn't sure if he was consigning the Maze. Nevertheless, it looks like he did move it.
There's one store in the Boston area. It's in Quincy. The guy actually runs a show too, where any card that's over $300, it's not in his case. It's just the picture. Then you make an appointment with him to open his briefcase. So,
hey, what was the LCS that you guys went to?
Sports World. It's in Saugus.
Oh, okay.
Phil Caston.
Phil. Yep.
Don probably knows it. Yeah, it's the biggest one in New England. It's absolutely insane. Yep.
What's the card show called again? A card store called again?
Sports World.
I just want to look it up so I can share it on the screen, like a picture.
Yeah, it's in Saugus. SAUGUS or GIS.
Got it. Yeah.
SAUGUS. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I haven't been. I don't think I've been there probably in about a year, but it's he's got a lot. It's a good shop.
Yeah, so much memorabilia too.
Yeah, a lot of memorabilia, a lot of cards. He's got the box. Like, I don't know if it's more organized now than it was the last time I was in there, but like stuff is kind of a little bit all over the place. But hey, if you're looking for something, if you're looking, especially like there was when I was building like my 63 set last year, he had like just a big box of all commons from all the 60s years, which is just hard to come by in LCSs these days. So,
Also fair. They
dealt
with us very fairly. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a wall of signed baseballs. It's like 8 feet high and about 50 feet long, and it's packed. And then on the opposite wall is hockey pucks, the same signed. Tons of periodicals. Yearbooks.
Pretty much everyone who's ever played in Boston.
I'm just kind of looking at it here.
I clean up on all the oddball stuff. I don't even cards half the time.
If you haven't watched Keating's video from Shriners, it's a good idea to do so because he goes through a bunch of stuff, and he picked up something very special in this store. And I saw the price tag, and I saw what John actually ended up paying, and they really treated him very fairly. I just bought a couple of yearbooks, and they cut a deal for me also. So really nice to deal with them too. And we're just chatting with, like, hanging out with guys at the show,
Yeah, there was like 5 guys working there. Unfortunately, Phil, the owner, wasn't there. He was sick. I had gone in Wednesday in preparation of bringing you guys in there, telling them, what you guys were looking for. I think as soon as you walked in, then he say, "Oh, the Boston Braves guy." So
exactly. Yep. Yeah. And then they had this other thing. I'll show it off, even though I'm now showing everything that I had on my channel. I'm going to show my channel. This is the 74 Yankees yearbook, which I'd never seen before. It has the cartoon of Mercer and Munson on it, which I thought was just terrific. I don't know what happened.
No? Okay, there we go.
This is beautiful. Munson, obviously Munson's this guy and the Mercer, and it's a 74 yearbook, and Keating got a kick out of this. It says free LP record inside. So there's like I guess some sort of album, some sort of music or something. I don't know. But we were talking about it because it's the 70s, so it's an album. But they sold that to me for $20, which, that's priceless to me, that item. So fits in my collection.
I didn't buy many cards at the show, but I picked up a couple of these type deals.
That's me. Yep.
There we go. That's Yaz. This is by drawing by Pep, and I guess these were like in newspapers all over the country. But the best one is the Yaz's brother, who was a college pitcher, Richie Yastrzemski. It's the first time I've seen a piece with his name on it, so that one got snatched up pretty quick.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I have the this is the RC can.
We
I
saw
have the,
that earlier.
Mhm.
Dom and I looked at this.
yeah, I have the blue one already on my wall here, but this is the white one, so I don't know the story behind this. So, if anybody else knows, let me know.
That was my reaction when I picked it up too. I was like, I don't have any idea what this is.
Test run, you know, I picked it up and I was not going to put it down, so it came home to me. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Jake, do you want to show your the Matthew? I mean, you have a bunch of big cards.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I don't know if it compares to a Yaz RC Cola something or other, but the I could show off like I'll show off like the two big things that I got, and I got these on Friday. So Friday was like the show's 3 days, so I'm lucky that I live. The best thing, one of the best things for me about Shriners is that it's only 15 minutes from my house. So I made it so that it was easy for me to go on Friday. I did take the day off from work. We were talking about Matt from Providence before. I walked into the show on Friday, and I was actually surprised to see Matt because he had told me that he was only going to be there Saturday, Sunday. So I see him. I saw him just walking around. He wasn't even at his table, and I'm like, "Are you set up?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, good for you because I'm going to be spending all my money today, and if I see you tomorrow, I'm probably not going to have any left." So I told him that the big thing that I wanted coming into the show was I wanted to get I had 3 cards in mind from the T206 set. I've been trying to collect Hall of Famers from the T206 set, and that's in this sort of action poses. And I either wanted to get Johnson hand at glove at chest, or either the Christy Mathewson dark cap or white cap. And he's like, "Well, I've got what you're looking for," and he cut me just an incredible deal on this card. On the let me get it right. I think that's probably as good as it's going to get in front of my computer screen. But the dark cap 2.5, and it is the polar bear back as well.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I mean, I just was over the moon at the deal that he was able to cut me on this card, just to get like this is a top 5 item in my entire PC now. It's just I'm over the moon about it. I can't even believe that it worked out like that. That Matt was there on Friday. I felt so good being able to buy it from him, and so that was the big one. That was the early big one on Friday, and then the later big one was over at Stan Locke's table. This Eddie Plank card just jumped out at me, and I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. I gave it back to him. I walked away for like 10-15 minutes, and I was just like, "Nah, I gotta snag it." So it is a E90-1 American Caramel Eddie Plank in a PSA 2 MK, and the MK you can kind of just see it on the back by where it says baseball up there. Somebody wrote something and tried to erase it, but you just don't see, like, this is like the eternal question for the collectors, right? Which is like, do you spend the money? Do you spend your budget like spreading it out among smaller things, or do you go for the big thing when the big thing jumps out at you? And I decided that for somebody that I like to collect, an individual playing days card of just as many Hall of Famers as I can. It's like, how often do I see Eddie Plank cards? Like, not often. He effectively doesn't have a T206 card. It's just as rare, if not more rare, than the Wagner. And that has a residual impact on all of his other cards. So yep. I just saw it, and I went back and I get similar to the Mathewson, where I worked a deal with Matt on that. Stan worked with me on the price on this as well. So yeah, it's so gorgeous. And so, yeah, so those were my 2 big. That was Friday. And then the biggest thing, I will just show the biggest thing I bought on Saturday was this koozie going up for the shot. And I did buy the Russell sort of regular card on Friday from the same set. So I had a big show. And there was other stuff too. I bought some smaller raw things, and I bought a 34 Diamond Stars Pie Trainer. I bought a few other 34 Diamond Stars. This is all on my channel, and so that was the reason why I had so much budget for this show was because I was supposed to go to Philly in September, and I was had some health issues that came up and wasn't able to go. So I had more money for this show, and I spent my budget, and so now I got to start saving up again. So
you did well. You did very well.
Good for you, man. That's a hell of a haul for you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
High train is a mass guy. Want a mess.
That's true. Yep. Exactly. Yep. And the cards, it's very sharp, but it is trimmed. But it's close enough that I'm still going to send it to SGC and see if maybe I can sneak by with a numerical grade. I doubt it. They're pretty good over there, but yeah. There was one other thing I wanted to show just quickly, which was that when you saw Matt's when Sammy, you showed the video from Matt's table.
Yes.
He had a graded example of a ticket stub from the 2001 Patriots Jets game in which Drew Bledsoe was horribly injured, almost killed by a Mo Lewis hit, and then a young Tom Brady came into the game, and it's in it at PSA 1.5, and he's asking $1,200 for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a 15-year-old Jake T. O'Donnell was at that game. And just today, I pulled out my ticket stub from that game.
Nice.
So
go back.
So the problem is that it is you can see here that I did tape it to my wall as a kid. But I am going to send this to PSA and see what it comes back as grade wise. It would take a lot for me to actually sell it. Because I went to the game with my late stepfather, who died in 2010. So but seeing what Matt's asking for that ticket is at least makes me want to get it authenticated. And see what it comes back as, and we'll see what happens in the future. But I just wanted to mention that was a something that was also famously, that was the first game at Gillette after 9/11 as well, and they played the Jets. Joe Andruzzi's brothers, who were all in all New York City firefighters, came out, and it was quite a scene. But anyway, a very memorable game.
That's awesome.
Dom, do you want to share some of the stuff you got? Because I know some of the
No, I don't mind. I had a much lower key show than the people that have been showing off so far. But no, I had some fun. We were talking about J Publishing, so we met a man named Jack, who is apparently like the authority on J Publishing. Super knowledgeable guy. He's contacted people that have worked at J Publishing, done a lot of research, and he was telling us all about this. And this is cool because this is the 65 Cardinals photo pack. But the thing that really attracted it to me past the amazing Bob Gibson photo is that it has the original envelope. So 12 Cardinals pictures. This was sent to someone out in Illinois. And these J Publishing photos were just super well done. Like this Bob Gibson image is beautiful. There's other stars in here like Ken Boyer, Red Shane Deans, Kurt Flood. I'm on 4 Collectors, so I'm contractually obligated to show this Dick Groat. And there's some other fun guys: Tim McCarver, Bill White, some other commons and stuff like that. 12 cards per pack for J Publishing. They did all different kinds of years, and I was learning about the typeface designation. So from the 50s until 1961 or 62, they were using a certain typeface, and then they switched over in like the early 60s to this other typeface. So that was super interesting to learn about and, pick up some more of that, the original envelope, that kind of stuff's exciting. And from that same dealer, I bundled it together with another Milk Dud box. I'm a big fan of these. I got Ernie Banks, and I got a really nice price on this one. Super clean box, and it's just these are awesome. These cards are great, and you can get them cut out for a lot cheaper. But the fact that these boxes are still out there, and you can see all the like old advertising and everything. It's just so cool to have these. So
I'm
those
old,
are my bigger pickups from the show.
I'm old enough to remember buying those and cutting them up.
Same here.
Yeah.
So Carlo's asking if we have the J Publishing Experts contact info. We didn't
Yeah.
get it direct, or you have it direct?
So I don't have it directly, but he told me to reach out to him on Trading Card Database.
Yeah.
His name is Jack Webster. His username is just his name. So yeah, you can reach out to him if you have any questions about the Braves, J Publishing photos from over the years. I'm sure he can help you.
He actually, I think he did. He mentioned that he did all of the legwork or most of the legwork to get those lists put together on the on TCDB.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, he uploaded most of the photos
to
Trading Card Database. Yeah,
and I remember he was saying like he had a spreadsheet, and in order to know which year was what, because they use a lot of the same photographs, he went by the team, the teammates or the different players for that particular year, and saw like, oh well, he only played for this team for 1 year, so this has to be from 1962 or whatever. But yeah, I definitely have to do some digging up on that because of the different photo packs I have now.
Yeah, they didn't do a great job dating them back in the day, so you have to really dig.
Yeah, J Publishing, they were like, all right, here's another one.
No, they got to get them out, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, listen, you got to compete. You got to compete with tops. You got to. Mark, I know you showed a couple of things, but
I got these are big purchases for the day.
let me bring you over. There you go.
This is 67 Impossible Dream pennant with the scroll, which these are tough to find. There's a white version too. I already had that one, but I didn't have the red version. That was one of the. I made a deal. I bought 2 of these, so I got the Tony C.
That's super cool. That's really cool.
I have the Yaz. There was 3 of these. There's Yaz, Tony C, and Ted Williams. I don't have the Ted Williams yet, but I got the Tony C and the team pennant from that same guy. I bought this a 50s era patch.
Was that from the guy? Was that from the guy in the back that had his stuff like spread out?
No, this is in the front. Rich Haskins, his name. He's a Texas guy. I buy a couple pennants from him all the time. He has patches, pennants. He specializes in that. So those are a couple of the things. And then this a Rawlings, Spalding, premium Rico Petrocelli. I'd never seen the Rico before. I have Yaz ones. I have Tony C ones, George Scott, Fisk. I never saw the Rico, so I was happy to grab that. I was gifted this by a good friend of mine, Ed. This is the Life magazine with Yaz on it from 67.
That's awesome.
This is a duplicate, so I'll probably trade it somehow. A couple things. I bought these at the card store afterwards. I'm a sucker for old coasters. These are from the 60s. I bought a set of them. This is a set from 68. I already had this set. So these ones had my name on it, so I had to pick these up. If you go into that card store, you'll notice they always have, I'm a sucker for old glassware. So I have these. This is from the 50s. And this is a set of, I've been putting it together slowly. This is milk glass. There's all different shapes of these. And one other piece this is also from the 50s. There's a whole set of these. I've got martini glasses, shot glasses, milk glasses, juice glasses, you name it. A lot of this I actually bought from Bobby Doerr's estate, and I have a cert that, when he passed away, they sold a lot of his stuff.
Wow.
One thing I passed out, I didn't buy these, but I gave these to all my Red Sox guys. I gave one to Dom, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody knows this guy's story, Tom Maggard. Look it up. It's pretty interesting. He might have been another all-star catcher if he didn't fall under. Look him up. Trust me, it's a different story. And that might be about it. I did go to a flea market today and bought a plastic bobblehead, which this is from the early 60s. I talked to my buddy who he lives in Pennsylvania. Sammy knows him, Keith.
Oh yeah, vintage sports
And,
flips.
Yeah.
He said you don't see these too often, and they're not as worth as much as some of them, but this is probably worth about $50. I got it for 2. So
Did you guys see Keith's like most recent video?
I saw the thumbnail for it, and I was like, I haven't watched it yet.
I don't know if you want me to spoil it or not, but I don't.
You could spoil it. I'll end up
Okay,
watching it anyway.
so he found a 1910s era Phillies pennant
I saw it.
that had William Penn was on like the left hand side of it, and it was this long bat that said Philadelphia on it, and he and a friend of his determined that it was a like I think early part of the 20th century era Phillies pennant. He bought it for $280 and he flipped it to his friend for over $2,000.
Wow.
I don't know
Pretty
who
good.
does follow Keith, but wherever he lives, there's some unbelievable flea markets, yard sales. It's unbelievable, the stuff.
It's like Philly area or like South Jersey, like
South
that's
Jersey.
where he lives.
Yeah.
It makes me want to go. I need to start going to more flea markets. Like it's just like I watch his videos and I'm like, oh my god! Like if you have the eye for it and you know like what to look for, I mean, even if it's not something stuff you want to flip, it's like you can find stuff. Like Sammy, we did that that live stream out here on talking about that with Orlando. Like it was, and Keith, like it's just amazing. Yeah.
And anytime I'm out at the market, I always text him, and he knows everything about stuff like that, equipment and bobbleheads and pennants. There's one other piece. I think, were you with me, Dan, when I bought this? It was in the far back corner. I don't know where I put it. It was the garter with the Red Sox pin attached.
Oh,
to
the
it.
garter, yes.
I don't know what I did with it. It's in there someplace.
And then shortly thereafter, you almost bought the Babe Ruth underwear, which I thought would have gone perfect with the garter.
Well, it was the box. I have no idea what was inside of it. Did you guys see that? I didn't bite on that though.
There was Babe Ruth underwear at the show.
There was a box. I don't know.
It was
what
a box.
It was like a brand.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
They put Babe Ruth's face on everything back then, I guess, probably, right?
Yep. And so Mark had the garter and the underwear, and I figured it was a perfect match, but he didn't go for it.
I put it here someplace, and I have no idea where it went to, but it'll come up.
All right, so Dan, if you want to share some of yours, I'll put you on the screen.
Well, so Matt from Providence had this is while you and he were trying to work out a deal, Sammy. It was when I was going through he had all these vintage slabs in boxes, which is one of my things. I love to go through these things. So about 5 minutes earlier, and I left the tag on this because about 5 minutes earlier, I had seen a 5 of this card for $120. And I was like, that seems a little high. And then I pulled this out, and Matt's got 65 on a 6. So I ended up paying 60 for it. I can take the price tag off, but it's a really beautiful example of the 63 Fleer, which is a Spawn card that I never had before. And it's not that bad of a 60s card. If any of you know my Spawn, I'm really not a big fan of his 60s cards because he looks like an old man. The other one was Mr. What was his name? Jack Webster? The one with
what's his name?
The guy that had the table was David.
The guy who was a big Rusty Staub fan?
Yeah, David.
Yeah.
Oh, David. Okay.
Yeah.
He had these. I know Mangini has had these also. It's the La Pizza Royale. It's 1970. It says on the label, but it's really 71. We figured that out by going through the names of the players on the team. And it was produced by some guy out in like Chicago or something. It's totally bootleg, totally not real. But there's 4 different sets of it, and it's like the earliest Expos only set. So obviously Rusty is in it. The rest of the guys, it's all Expos from that era. So there's no other stars in it. But I think I spent $40 for it. I'd spent over 100 for the green. I have the green set also. Over 100 for that online. So I thought this was a great deal. And then he had this beauty. As you said, he had all these packs of picture packs and team issues, and so he had the 1976 Baltimore Orioles team issue postcard, and I pulled out the pack of the actual full set, and then he said, well, I have the Reggie. So I only wanted the Reggie because getting Reggie in a Baltimore uniform is pretty tough. And I'd never seen this before. And so $20 later, I was the proud owner of a Reggie. I'm going to send this off to be graded. I know PSA grades them. I'm not sure yet if SGC grades them. And then there was another guy. I left the price tag on this one too. He was in that corner, the opposite corner from the guy who had all the team packs. And he had a setup of about 5 or 6 signed 1953 Bowman cards. And this is Ned Garber, who signed on his arm, which is perfect because it's like a great spot for his name. And it's a beautiful signature. And it's authenticated by SGC, which is kind of weird. So I asked to him, because SGC doesn't do autos anymore. I asked for the full stack just to look at them. And I'm figuring prices are going to be like 100, 150. And I flip it over and it says 25. And I'm like, I couldn't give him my money fast enough for his card. 53 Bowman, a set that I'm building in slabs only. This is one of the cards that I needed, and it's my only auto from that set. So I figured it would be a perfect thing. And for $25, no, not even a second thought. So those are the gets that I want to show here. I'm still going to have some more that I'm going to show on my channel. I'm going to do my video tomorrow morning. Right. I've got some stuff over there. But it's funny because Jake said this about like what's your theory when you go into a show? You one of the guys who does like 3 or 4 big hits, or you one of the guys who does like a bunch of little smalls? And I am usually one of the big hit guys, which is why I said to Mark before he and John wanted to leave, and I'm like, I didn't buy a big card yet. I have like 30 different things, all of which are fantastic and rare and like, amazing, like a $25 auto from 53 Bowman. But I didn't buy a big card. There was one that I was negotiating on, but the guy just wouldn't budge, and his number was too high. It was a 1941 Gaudy. I believe it was the yellow Carl Hubble, and he wanted 1,000. And I looked up the price tag, and I looked up the comps, and the price tag was just way too high. So, but lots of smalls, lots of cool little stuff, postcards, buttons, all kinds of things.
Yeah, I think for me, like I had the benefit of being able to go multiple days. Like Dan, like it's like if you're at the National, or if you go out to Strongsville, it's a multi-day show. Like yep. That's probably more of that opportunity for me. That's what this show was, at least for me in this year 2024.
Yeah,
that this was I was going to get the big card at this show, and I got 2 big cards.
I've done that with Philly, where I've gone for the Friday preview, which helped me the next day to identify cards that I was looking for. And I've done that in Strongsville. I drove out, got there at like 4:00, checked into the hotel, got my room from the guy who ended up stealing millions of dollars worth of cards, and then I'm not making that up.
Oh yeah.
The felony guy, the guy who got a felony conviction out of that, was the guy who checked me into my room. But anyway, I got over to the show at about 4:30, 5:00, and then just walked around for an hour, and it helped me the next day. So I think that's really cool that you use Friday as like a good scouting time. And then, of course, you bought all the cards, so there were none left for us.
I didn't buy the whichever auction house it was that had the like all graded like 7, 6, and 7 and higher Cracker Jack cards.
Yeah, that was oh god, what was
Memory Lane?
Memory Lane,
maybe.
Like
they had a PSA 7 Joe Jackson, which kind of pales compared to one of the auction houses is going to have a SGC 9 Joe Jackson up for auction. I don't remember which one it is.
All of a sudden, they're just popping up.
Yeah, where do these come from?
It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
Garter.
No, it's the Garter.
Let's see that thing.
That is a unique Red Sox item.
Yes, it is.
I'll tell you what.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Sammy, what you get? We didn't see what you got.
Yeah. I'll show all of them, and I'll show them again next, probably because I'm taking a break from the channel this week, but I'll be coming back next week. So 4 major pickups. First one was a nice surprise. This was over at David's table, and I think you guys have all seen this already, but yeah, the Tom Seaver rookie postcard, 1967. I brought out the graded one that I have. which is in a 5. Sorry, the focus is not doing its due diligence here, but there you go, a little better. But yeah, I found this one, and I couldn't believe that it was going for that price, and I just jumped on it immediately. The back has the Mets. Now, this has a variation. This one you can get with the Mets logo on the back or without. I personally like the one with. I think it looks better. Here's my graded one, and actually, the graded one is a little bit more faded almost, or maybe the camera's doing tricks, but you can tell this one has a little bit more color to it. And the only downside is there's some writing on the back, but when it comes to these sort of cards, you just don't see them too often. So that was kind of a nice surprise. The first pickup I did was even right at the beginning, almost at the beginning of the show. I was walking with Jake, and I told him, I said, there's a dealer in the front before you even walk in, like right before the main entrance to the show. There's a dealer who I think goes by Ruthian Sports Cards. He's from Arizona. This guy named Mark, and he had a Mathewson, the play ball Mathewson, and so it wasn't, this card has not been on the forefront, but I from time to time I've seen these cards, and I've seen like 2s and 3s go for like $250, $200 to $250, and Mark at Ruthian Sports Cards had this at $300, and I got it for I think I got it for like $270. So for a 5, I was really pleased with the outcome with that. So that was a nice pickup. Third major one was from the same guy, Ruthian Sports Cards, Mark. He had this 1985-86, I think it's either Machante or Mercante. I don't know how it's pronounced, but the Larry Bird. And obviously the big one is the Jordan. That one goes for big money, but this one was just never seen it before. And my understanding is that this is from Spain. It is a Spanish yogurt manufacturer, and I looked. We were both curious about it. Mark from Ruthian, he was looking it up, and I was looking it up, and he was saying, "Oh, we looked up how many of these have been graded. I think there have been. I want to say there's like a total of 40 of these have been graded overall, and maybe 6 or 7 of them are 5s and something like that. But I thought it was a cool card. I think it's Magic Johnson guarding him here. I think it's Magic. It looks like him, but it's a great shot of Bird. I haven't bought a basketball card in a while. And the last thing I'll show is the, like Dom picked up the 65, the J Publishing. I picked up the 63 J Publishing from Dave. Got Mays, Cepeda, McCovey, and really cool shot of Marichal here in his windup. This is a great shot of him. Another great shot of him would be the giant leg kick. I think like the 73 Topps has that great shot of his leg kick. And here's the envelope, which I need to get a bigger top loader to put this in. So, and there's more cards inside, just like managers and I think it was like Al Dark and I can't remember the other players, but I wanted to just focus on the 4 big stars. So that was my big show.
Yeah, you hit all those big names, man. Seaver Mays and Mathewson and Larry Bird.
It's funny. I didn't even consciously think of it at the time, but I almost got a perfect score of 6 out of 6 with all the key players I collect. Mm-hmm. I was very close on getting the Bill Russell rookie with Matt from Providence, but we just couldn't get there. But it's all good. It was a really nice looking one.
I didn't show this before, but I did. The other bigger card that I got was the 60, similar to the Kuzi, the laying up shot. But this was the first playing days Russell card that I've bought. There's not a lot of them. And the inaction card, I don't know if I was talking to you, Sammy, or if I was talking to Mike Junkwax Hero about this, but the action card of Russell from that set is a terrible card, in my opinion, because he's like going up for the shot and his arm is in front of his face. And that's the picture that they used for one of the very few playing days Bill Russell cards that exists. it sucks. So I was not going to waste my money on that card. I'm much happier with that one, and maybe I'll get the like the dealer that I bought the koozie laying up the shot from. They had that in the PSA 5, and he also had the sort of regular card of him raw, and I opted to go for the one that was already, because I would probably want a graded one, an SGC graded one of koozie, and so I opted for the one that was already graded, and that koozie was marked at 175, and I got it for 150. And it's in a 5, so
yeah, that's pretty stellar. That's a pretty stellar one.
So I got the Russell among between us, at least.
Perfect.
One of us came away with a Russell card.
That works out.
Show this to Dom. I had given him a glass, and I gave one to Mike Junkwax Hero.
Mm-hmm.
This is the other one that came with the set.
Nice.
And it has, you can't really read it. MVP, Kyle, Cy Young, Lomborg. You got these at a gas station after the 67 series. There was a case of 24. 6 of the cups were like this. 18 were the ones like I gave Dom. It just shows Fenway on the back.
Mm-hmm.
So
really cool. Thanks again for that.
This is the other one that goes with it. So
yeah, I put some stuff away. I got a couple of Yaz things. I got 2 Hostess cards from I think 76 and 77, and I thought they were both. I got home and I realized I was like, I think I have both of these cards already. I mean, I only spent like $15 on the pair of them. It turns out that I didn't have the 76, which I was psyched about, and then the 77, literally the one that I had, literally had like, it looked like Hostess like stains on it. So nice to upgrade that one and get one that I didn't have. And then I also, like I said, I put it away. It's somewhere over there. I bought a pin. Like there was a guy that had like a box of pins. And I bought a Yaz pin that had that was numbered. I think it was from like 78 or something like that. So yeah, it's good
cool,
to get
man.
a few Yaz.
I know Mark came bearing gifts, and I'll show them. I mean, he gave like a bunch of cool cards, and I can't say I was like there for it, but you know, like I was not there for the World Series.
I was 6. I myself was 6 months old.
And the this is cool. The coaster. It kind of goes. I mean, we're talking about like Rheingold is everywhere. It's even you could see it on the back. They were like a major. Were they a regional sponsor or were they a nationwide sponsor?
They were a Mets sponsor. Rheingold was all over the place. Early Mets. I remember full page ads in the yearbook, and then like you can see behind Seaver stuff in the stadium, commercials on TV in that era. Yeah, Rheingold. I think they were brewed in Brooklyn, possibly, and then and they were a big Mets sponsor until they went out of business.
That's pretty cool. I'm gonna look that up to get to dig up more information. But thank you, Mark. These are really cool pieces. I don't think I have a coaster, but it'll go well with the. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to keep it in there, but it'll go well with the Mets. What was it? Keith gave me a pint glass of like an old Mets pint glass, and Mookie gave me a Nolan Ryan McDonald's cup. So it's perfect.
Yeah, I use them all over the place in here. I put coasters under the cups just to
okay.
Different beer sponsors and different things like that. Yeah.
You showed that, Mark. You showed that milk glass one before. All I could think of is my grandmother. So she loved to collect milk glass, and she also was a diehard Red Sox fan. She watched every game. You know. So
I think Jake is trying to get that to be gifted next Shrine.
I'm not. It's just anytime I can make an excuse to mention my grandmother, it's a plus. Yeah. Although my grandmother did the classic story. She threw out all my dad's baseball cards from the 50s, including he had probably like a dozen. My dad told me he literally had a dozen 1960 Topps Mickey Mantle cards because Mantle was his favorite player. So when they would who knows what condition they were in, because he would flip the cards and throw them against the wall and that kind of thing. But anyway, that was the only thing my Grammy in 91 years ever did wrong in her whole entire life. So,
well, I forgot about this one. I bought this too. I forgot I had it. Sport magazine. Ted with the Washington Senators.
That's cool.
That was about it.
All right, well, guys, listen, we just got just over an hour, so I appreciate you guys jumping in and sharing your recaps and experiences. I think Shriner is a win for all of us in terms of our experiences, and definitely looking forward to it next year. I think the next big one lined up is the Philly show. I know, Dan, you're probably going.
Yes.
Dom, yeah, maybe.
I'll probably do the next Philly show.
Oh, that's right. You said
not the one next month.
And Mark and Jake, is it too far of a drive or?
Yeah, probably Philly show, and it's same thing for me. Like the Philly show, December, not going to work. Too much stuff going on close to the holidays. But I think Abby and I are thinking about going to the next one in the spring.
And Jake, are you did you go? You didn't go to Strongsville last year, did you?
No, but I mentioned I said I think you may have been when you were doing technical difficulties. I will not be able to go to Strongsville this year because it's the same weekend that this next year because it's the same weekend that my brother-in-law is getting married. So,
well,
but we will be going to the national though. So
great. And Mark, you're going to be going to Strongsville?
I'm thinking about it. Pick a gym asked me to go room up with him. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great show. The Best Western is a madhouse, but it's a good madhouse.
Yeah, that's a good thing, though.
Dom, are you? What's your take? Think you can go?
Strongsville is something that I'd definitely like to do, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it next year for that. So we'll see. It's more likely than the national for me for next year. But I don't know if I'll be taking a flight to go to any card shows next year at all.
I hear you. And I know, Dan, you're going to be going to Philly, and Strongsville is definitely happening, right?
Yeah. I'm going to drive to Strongsville, but I'm flying to Chicago for the national.
Makes sense.
I don't have my room yet for Strongsville. Maybe I should think about doing that, because Chris has already set up the block of room. So I think I probably should do that. And I will be in Philly in December. I'm not sure about White Plains. I know they probably have a March show. We'll see.
That's right.
About that. But my next Shriners will be next November probably, because June's not going to work for me.
Sounds good, guys. Well, yeah, thank you guys for joining, and thank you everybody that jumped in. We still have 39 viewers. We had as many as 50, if not more. So it's great. So appreciate you guys jumping on, and have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll see you soon.
See you guys.
See you guys. Bye-bye.